Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dennis. I'm the father to Bethany, the young girl who was in the therapy video and the little mini documentary at habitcough.com. What I want to explain to you today, because I make some notations on the website, that you really need to read this letter twice. I read it probably 4 times, and because of that, I thought, wow, there's something new every time I read it. I figured I would explain it to you or do my best. First things first, this is from the Annals of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, not a magazine that everybody routinely gets, but a magazine or a publication that every allergist, asthma doctor, and immunology doctor around the world waits for every month to get, and they basically live by what is written in here. This is called peer-reviewed. Peer-reviewed means before it is ever allowed to become published in the annals, that it has to be reviewed by your colleagues around the world. And this way is kind of a self-check. They're not going to allow something out to be published in here unless it is real. And what Dr. Weinberger wrote here, unexpected and unintended cure of habit cough by proxy. That's what happened to Bethany. And she had it via a Skype call. But the unintended and unexpected cure by proxy is what is fascinating. That is basically little children and adults around the world watching the video of Bethany being cured, or watching a generic therapy session extracted from Bethany's session. By doing this and watching these videos, men and women and boys and girls are being cured from their horror cough. We did not know to call it habit cough, so we called it horror cough because it could be called nothing less. Some children have it for up to 5 years, and adults for 5 years. And then boom, like a miracle. And here we say miracle. It's an extraordinary event manifesting divine intervention. Okay, we're not going to be talking about that so much, but the next one, an extremely outstanding or unusual event, thing, or accomplishment. Bethany's instantaneous cure. And moreover, the instantaneous cure of boys and girls with habit cough for up to 5 years around the world. Instantly, by watching Dr. Weinberger's video, are so miraculous, completely unintended. By proxy, meaning if you have, say you have stock shares and you have 100 proxy votes, you may not be driving all the way to New York City and say, I vote yes for my 100 votes. You'll give your votes to somebody else who might be as brilliant as you are, or they will have your same ideals and vote the same way. That's a proxy vote. And basically, that's what Dr. Weinberger has created, is a proxy cure. Little children and adults around the world, soon to be in their own language. Right now we have English, but we're getting it translated into the language of the affected person, are cured by proxy. I don't know whether this happens very often. And Dr. Weinberger certainly didn't think that it would. Who could have ever imagined? Morbidity, we mentioned that. And basically it's a diseased state or symptom, or basically ill health. And they talk about the morbidity of something, the morbidity, and they talk about the morbidity of chronic cough and habit cough. Here we go. This is the letter that was published, and I broke it up into a couple of little chunks so we can unpack it. In 1966, Dr. Bernie Berman, who Dr. Weinberger talks about with great reverence, and I don't even know whether he met Dr. Berman. He was a Boston allergist, and he described 6 children with a chronic barking, honking cough that could be stopped by the art of suggestion. What? Stop coughing. Stop coughing. It works. Now, mind you, it's not that easy, but when people understand this, especially the adults, for a child, it takes a little bit of therapy. For Bethany, it took about 15 to 20 minutes only. And then once she understood how to control and arrest her cough, she was done coughing. It took her 2 weeks for her throat to heal. But her basic cough, the source of the problem was gone in minutes. Interestingly, adults around the country and the world have reported back through habitcough.com and to Dr. Weinberger for his research that they instantly, once they realize what they have to do, boom, they just say, I'm going to keep myself from coughing. And they do it. Dr. Weinberger did his research in the University of Iowa and Brompton Hospital in England, but the median age for this was 10 years at both institutions. Little sidebar. When I talked with Dr. Weinberger momentarily and said to him, do you realize that adults are being cured? He said, I'm a pediatric pulmonologist. And I can only imagine there's going to be an adult pulmonologist somewhere who is going to want to take on the reins of this and take it to the next level, because I read recently, and I don't know how to verify this, but it was on the internet at a reputable source, that around 10% of Americans have some type of long-term cough. But this is a world thing, not just America. We've been getting emails from Canada, England, Australia, Argentina, all over the place, all throughout these countries, where people have had these horror coughs that were misdiagnosed, and we'll get to that in a moment here too. For years, they watch Bethany's video with Dr. Weinberger and their cough instantaneously stops. Okay, this is the part about Bethany, and I'm mentioned in here too. In 2019, in February, Dr. Weinberger received an email from me about Bethany, who had a 3-month history of nonstop, unabated, no sweet spot. Nothing made her cough any better. Chronic cough, most important. Absent once asleep. Again, absent once asleep. He called me and he basically said, before we do anything, I need to know one question. Just a yes or no. Don't explain it. Just say yes or no. Yes or no. Yes or no. Does she awake in the middle of the night coughing? And I said, dear God, no. He said, yes or no. And he understood I meant no. I said, no, she has never once awakened coughing. However, when she wakes up normally in the morning, after 8 hours of sleep, she begins coughing within 15 seconds. It was terrifying. And she had worked her way up all the way to being prescribed Qvar, which did nothing. Albuterol did nothing. All the over-the-counter drugs did nothing. The little pearls did nothing. Dextromethorphan did nothing. It's all up on our website. Dr. Weinberger said, hey, you know what I want to do? For the first time, I'm going to give you my usual therapy, my suggestion therapy, not hypnotism, but my suggestion therapy I want to give you via a Skype call. And it worked. That's the video. He said here, cured in 15 minutes. I think 7. I'll stick with what he says. Within 15 minutes, her cough had stopped. Stopped for a couple, 2 hours, came back a little bit, and I explained that on the website, and Dr. Weinberger said it should stop, and then you have to heal because you're used to coughing. Little girl in New Jersey, 10-year-old girl, had this horror cough for almost 6 years. Her cough stopped in a Skype call with Dr. Weinberger, and now she's in recovery mode. And how sweet, 13-year-old Bethany is now Skyping with the young girl in New Jersey and peer counseling her to make her cough go away, to continue to keep up with her cough eradication or her cough interruption. Interestingly, from what we see, she's had it for 6 years. It's all she's ever known, but it is going away. And Bethany spoke with her via Skype last night for about 30 minutes, and she had one throat clear. That after that throat clear, that one incident, for the next 28 minutes, she had no throat clearing at all, no throat clear coughs. I put together a fan site for him, for Dr. Weinberger, like if you were a fan of Brad Pitt or Shaquille O'Neal, and you wanted to tout all the greatness that these people do, and one's a basketball player and one is a movie actor. Those are great things, but imagine being able to cure children from a horrible, vicious horror cough by creating a video. And again, I mentioned in the video, I filmed it only to show the grandparents. I picked it up and I started filming the whole thing, thinking there is no way in the world anybody's going to believe what I am watching right now. That's why the first 3 minutes are audio recorded, because I thought if he's going to give us a therapy session where he's only speaking to her, sooner or later I'm going to need to pay for this, or it might not be optimum for him to communicate with Bethany. But he was confident going into Bethany's session that her cough would be gone within minutes, and it was. I knew nothing, so I picked it up and filmed it, and the rest is habit cough history. We were blessed to know this, that Dr. Weinberger cured our daughter. He was very excited to know that I had filmed it, and I also edit video as a little minor hobby. So he was able to present that video as a keynote speaker in Taiwan, I believe in February of 2019. And I told him, I said, when they see this video, they're going to raise you up on their shoulders and cheer your name. So down at the bottom here, it's going to be on the next page. I'm going to do it on the next page. Although the outcome, under the blue right here, although the outcome of the patient's treatment via Skype was a satisfying experience, an unexpected and unintended effect of the video was subsequently reported to me. Dr. Weinberger started receiving emails. Now, mind you, I said to Dr. Weinberger, could I extract your therapy session with Bethany, make it generic, take out gender and name specifics, make it very generic, put it back up on YouTube, back up on the website. Perchance, one chronic cough person around the world would be able to show that video to their doctor and say, doctor, what about this? Could this help me? And then the most unexpected and unintended effect occurred. People said, I've had enough with my doctor, whatever the case is, I'm going to try this on myself right now. If a little girl can do it, I can do it too. Bethany even says in the video, if I can do it, you can do it too. I don't really believe that Dr. Weinberger expected adults to be cured and to self-cure themselves. And I don't really believe that Dr. Weinberger expected mommies and daddies to have their child watch the video and say to them, do what Bethany does. Mimic her. Stare at the screen. Drink your water. And one by one, and a chill's going through my body as I speak this right now, one by one, the emails started coming into Dr. Weinberger, and he got permission from the parents to forward them to me. My son, my daughter, I, being a 60-year-old woman, or my 10-year-old son, or my 9-year-old daughter had this horror cough, this mystery cough for 1 month, 5 months, 3 years, 5 years or more. And by watching the video, they were instantly cured. Instantly cured. And these are all individuals who would have had, dry hacking cough, wouldn't stop except when he's asleep. And they go through all the medications that Bethany went through, the chest x-rays, the dextromethorphan, the pearls, the whole nine yards. Big thing to know, I have it highlighted in orange down here. Dr. Weinberger has no conflicts of interest, and he's not making any money off this. As a matter of fact, he's giving it away. It's like Ben Franklin giving away the lightning rod to anybody who wanted one. And one of the greatest gifts in the world. But I bear witness to this, to Dr. Weinberger giving this to the hopeless, helpless, and forsaken children of the world and adults. I think I'll mention it later also, but one of the adults noted on the website said, I believe a 68-year-old woman, but in her 60s. I have chronic bronchitis, COPD, and emphysema. More than likely smoking related. I don't know. She didn't say that, but I've witnessed this in the past, and I'm sure it might be. But she said I had a horrible cough that was unresponsive and vicious. And I watched Bethany's video, and boom, my cough was gone in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it might have been. And I had to call Dr. Weinberger and say, did you see this? He said, he said, Dennis, I'm a pediatric pulmonologist. To think that it works in adults is fascinating. So anyway, here's a new word called iatrogenesis, and basically this means an inadvertent and preventable induction of disease or complications by medical treatment, meaning the best intentions of a doctor having alternate consequences. So what here, it basically mentions that unneeded testing, right here in the middle, unnecessary medication, even hospitalization. I heard of one young girl in Canada, and she had been induced, I believe, like surgically induced, I believe 2 times. She had her adenoids and her tonsils taken out, and nothing helped. Nothing at all helped. So terrible and just terrifying. So what's going on here? There we go. My mouse is not working. There we go. So iatrogenesis, and that I'm going to believe is misdiagnosis. So many young children I have heard of have been diagnosed with everything up to and including Tourette's syndrome. Tourette's was next in line for Bethany. They follow a progression, and I was told it might very well be Tourette's, and I know that the treatment path for that is antipsychotic drugs, and we were not going to allow that to happen with our daughter. Thank God we found Dr. Weinberger. Let's see what we have here. This one, the mother of a 9-year-old boy, I believe, in Florida, is a pediatric nurse, and she had never heard of anything like this. Her pediatrician boss had never heard of it. The son immediately identified with Bethany. He jumped right into it and stopped coughing. And the mom wrote me and said that the tipping point to her son was watching the video. Mom said, honey, sit right next to me and watch what this little girl does. And there's a little face shot of Bethany, and she says, if I can do it, you can do it too. He turned to his mom and said, Mommy, if Bethany can do it, I can do it too. And then it goes on and on and on. These are all different variations on it, but here's what I like. One child exclaimed, I can hold the cough back. Oh, it chokes me up to talk about it. Because here Bethany was 5,000 times a day. We have a video on our website. The little boy, it sounds like machine gun fire, 14 hours a day for, I believe, 90 days. And he stopped within minutes. And the mom said 4 days later, his cough had been completely gone. It takes a little while to continue to, with the cure, or to heal, not the cure, to heal. This one here out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, I believe. The coughing stopped like turning off a switch. Like turning off a switch. The parents are, like us, in shock. We just happened to videotape it because nobody would believe it. And again, we did it just for the grandparents, but now it has some very unintended and fantastic consequences. This was the little boy watching this little 9-year-old says, it's a different cough than mine. But then associated with what he was watching with Bethany and his own condition, and he could suppress the cough, and it was gone the following day. And I believe the follow-up was, he, as like all these children, takes a couple weeks for it to completely go away. Bethany's went from 5,000 the cure day to maybe 200 for the next 2 or 3 days, then down rapidly to 100, and then within 2 weeks, almost imperceptible, to where Mommy and I were saying, did you hear her cough today? Do you hear her cough? We didn't want to bring it up. We wanted to observe. She coughed so much, she was on home school for, I believe, 90 days or for a long time. But we were able to observe her. We had no idea what the complications would be. What if she started to bleed or something like that? Thank God she didn't. But one of the older women said, amazingly, it was mind over matter. Here we go. Dr. Weinberger received these emails from adults, and I believe he's had subsequent, but you have to talk with him about that. They would say, I listened to the video and concentrated. It really works. The other woman commented, it's amazing, mind over matter. So Dr. Weinberger notes here, let's see, causes considerable morbidity, illness, including well-intentioned iatrogenesis, unneeded testing, and a lot of misdiagnosis, unnecessary medication, and all this is due to the inability to diagnose it. Now, here's the cool thing. Here we go. For the doctors, he writes this. The clinical characteristics of the habit cough are sufficiently distinct, I believe, from the tick, that the diet, because we never once said, oh, she's got a terrible tick. Nobody ever came up to us and said, why does your daughter have a cough? A tick. They all said, that's a terrible cough. But it's a honking, barking, repetitive, in our case, dry cough, several times a minute. Look at the video online. It was like machine gun fire for 14 hours a day for this family. But the neat thing is a doctor, knowing the history, which like we did for Bethany, we kept the history. Knowing that history, a doctor could look at it and say, sorry about that. A doctor could look at it and say, wow, it sounds like a habit cough. Go through this therapy and they'll be good to go. And it says no testing is needed for diagnosis except the observation of not awakening at night during your sleep. And no medications are needed, just the auto-suggestion therapy that is for free up on the website. Knowledge and skillful interaction with the patient are tools for diagnosing and treating the disorder. It's a miracle in our mind. It's always been there. I put on the website the little Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz and Glinda saying to her, you always had the power, you just didn't know it, or some variation like that. It's basically what Dr. Weinberger says to the children. You always had the power. I'm going to teach you how to do it. So, last part before we head out. This is fascinating. This is a little girl here. It's up on the website from Australia named Abby. 5 years of relentless horror cough. Unbeknownst to Dr. Weinberger, she films herself having her therapy, her Weinberger procedure therapy. She films herself. Here's in the video: cough, spike, cough, spike, cough, 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 cough. All these red arrows are cough spikes. The green one and the one before it, here's the green one. It's real thick on the red and then thin on that green, and then a major gap in between the green and the next red, and a larger gap between those two. Literally within 5 minutes, this little girl, 15-year-old girl, who had horror cough, was diagnosed with everything but chronic habit cough. I believe they even said it might have been Tourette's, and they had put her on some heavy-duty drugs that her mom said, no way. Within 5 minutes of watching this video, her cough was gone. I believe, we'll just say a week later, all remnants were gone. It was fascinating. And read the letter from the mom. It is just so heartwarming. So to finish up here, please give me a call anytime, 410-852-6928, 410-852-6928. You can text me, call me, email me, habitcough@gmail.com. Most important though, contact Dr. Weinberger. Oh, here's his email. He wants to know. He doesn't charge anything. He does not become your doctor. That's all disclaimed up on the website, but he is a researcher in this and he wants you to be helped. But he's never charged a thing that I know of. Never charged anybody that I've ever heard of. Great man, and with a fantastic message of hope. And like we say, no more horror, no more helpless, hopeless, or being forsaken. So if you have any questions, please contact any of us. I can only tell you what's happened with me. Dr. Weinberger is the big doctor in this whole thing. This is a mighty powerful man. So thank you for listening, and I hope that the end of your cough is today. Have a great day.
My full session with Dr. Weinberger is on our website at habitcough.com.
Please be advised, this was our experience with Dr. Weinberger. Yours might certainly differ, but talk to your pediatrician, talk to your pulmonologist, talk to your child's doctor, and let them know about habitcough.com.